we're back here, coming off of a weekend. We spent the weekend up north. We had Bella, we had my other 3 dogs. My buddy Chris Smith was up with his dog Fee. So we had a whole bunch of them up north. We spent basically the whole day Saturday training, using some water, new place that we have up there. And it's just really a nice training ground. And so we did a good amount of water work this weekend. I used her a little bit. She swam, more just swimming, getting comfortable in the water. She swims like very natural. She swims really like a seasoned dog. She settles in really low to the water. I see a lot of times when they're puppies, they don't like getting their feet up off the ground, so as they get into water a little bit deeper, they start to put their back feet up, which causes their front feet to splash. They have a hard time. They want to look. They want to get up so they can look instead of settling down and looking across the water. She's never really had that. She's really natural into the water. So we let her do that a little bit. We let her swim a little bit. I made a little puppy retrieve with her in the water, just real short, pitched it out. She went out, brought it back. We made a couple little retrieves with her on land, not much. Of course, she has been making retrieves, not intentionally. She's just, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and she's been teething and we stopped retrieving. She's just got a big desire to pick stuff up and bring it, and she'll bring it back. I've not discouraged that. I've encouraged the delivery. I haven't encouraged her picking stuff up, because she's picking up anything random. Sticks, pine cones, shoes, socks, blankets, whatever she can get her mouth on, she'll pick it up and carry it around, very proud. And to this point, I've encouraged her to bring it to me and deliver, and she's done that. So those have turned into retrieves that were unintentional. We're not gonna put any negative to that. We're not gonna tell her no on any of that stuff. Now that we're back into retrieving, we can start to encourage the specific stuff we want her picking up. And eventually I can start to tell her to leave some stuff alone. But when they're this young and when they're just this early on in retrieving, you gotta remember, she's like 22 weeks right now, roughly. So she's like 5.5, she's gonna be 6 months. Actually, I think she's gonna be 6 months here real quick. I think her birthday was on the 6th. So, and today we're like on the 7th. So maybe she is 6 months right now. I'll have to look at the dates. But she has not made a ton of retrieves. And that was on purpose. Part of it was because she wasn't with me till she was about almost 4 months old. And then the other part is she started teething pretty quickly. So we stopped retrieving. But well, I'm gonna make a few today. We're gonna start to just get on the slightest amount of just waiting and being patient and building a little bit of steadiness with the retrieve. And that means we're gonna quit throwing. I'm not gonna throw marks. I'm not gonna throw them for her unless she starts to show no interest in it. The throwing part is fine, but what happens is when they're young like this, every time I throw it, she gets a retrieve, and I don't want her to necessarily believe that's always the case. I'd like her to start thinking about it a little bit more instead of just reacting out of predator-prey. So we're gonna start building in a little bit of memory work with her. It's gonna start allowing us to replicate what we did at feeding times. We've worked so hard at that, we're gonna start to use it now as a retrieve, part of our retrieve. The heel work's not gonna go away. I had her out this morning with the other dogs, and she was really being a pest. She was nipping at Ellie's ears. She was, it just wasn't good control. It was a little bit reckless. So I just took a lead and I slipped it on her, and I was just walking down taking the dogs out this morning. So it's just going to be this go-to for us where we just slip a lead on, and you do see a definite change with her heel. And there's no way I can ask her to heel off lead in the group of other dogs. She's just not there yet, and it would be so poor and sloppy. I don't want to form a habit that will erode what we're working on here on lead. I want her in position. So the position she's in right now is beautiful, and I've got no correction to it. It's completely a loose lead. As I turn, she's turning with me. As I stop here, we're gonna see what she does. I'd like to have her sit to the whistle. Good girl. Heel. So you see this just real nice, loose lead. Now I turn into her. That's a little surprising, but look at how she adjusts real nicely. Gets into position. Good girl, heel. No corrections yet. So I'm kind of keeping tabs of how many corrections I give today. And she's just been in very good position, so there really hasn't been a need to. I stop and then I keep moving. I didn't want her to sit there to that one. Same thing, stop and move. Just get her to respond. Turn into her, good girl. There's the first correction. So peep to the whistle, no sit, peep to the whistle, no sit, correct. Don't keep doing that. Heel. Good, heel. Good, heel. Good. Those last three were real good. It almost was a game. How quickly can I stop and sit? Good girl. And her eyes are really on me. Good, heel. So now I bring her back over here. We're gonna turn around. Now what I'm gonna do is unclip this. I'm just gonna take the lead. I'm gonna wrap it around. I'm gonna take the lead down here and I'm just gonna touch it down to her. She doesn't know if it's on her or not right now. Bella, heel. And then I can just slowly pick the lead up. Good. And every once in a while I'll touch her with it just to let her know you're there. Good. Heel. I want to get it out of her. See how she was watching it? I want to get it so she, Now if I had had a lead, I would have given a little correction there. So I gave it with tone. Good. Good. And now I walk off of her. So we build off to the sit to the whistle to now it's remote sit. And it's real good focus on her part. And there's virtually no, I really feel confidently there's virtually no chance for her that she's gonna break on me. Don't mind that little scoot, keeping her eyes on me. So because she scoots around, I'll just turn and walk away the other direction. If she hadn't scooted, I probably would have finished the circle all the way around her, just so that I didn't make her turn and watch backwards the whole time. But that little scooting is okay. Good girl. Now I'm gonna slide back into her. Good girl. Bella, heel. And off we go. Real good position. She's almost touching her shoulder to my leg occasionally. I don't mind that as long as they're not leaning in. Good stretch. Turn into her, good, heel. Good. Good girl. That's a good girl. So that's real nice. Now, Bella, heel, heel. Come on, come on. Bella, heel, good. Just give her a little touch to get her moving. Now, one of the things I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna leave this wrapped around because she has an issue with it when it dangles. She wants to play with it. So I don't want that to be distracting. So I'm gonna leave it hooked up like that. So I've got her on lead. Good girl, heel. You can see, boy, that's exciting. This is the value of having this. So I can get a hold of this. Bella, Bella, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Come on, big dummy. Nice big dummy. Good girl, come on. Come on. Good girl, here, here, here. Good. Good girl. Nice big dummy, really makes her work. Really makes her work on holding. Now, she doesn't know what hold means, but this is just natural. And I'm encouraging it. Good. Did. And I'm coming up from underneath her to take it. Good girl. Sit. Sit. And we're going to go from a real exciting thing to a real controlled thing. She's on the verge right now of just wanting to run. That little bit at the end there, she was telling me she really wanted to go burn a lap. But I settled her in. Good girl. Heel. Heel. So I'm gonna clip this on. I'm gonna keep that wrapped around so that I can send her with it without it hanging down, because I don't want that to get distracting to her. Now watch the difference with the puppy bumper. No, heel. Just bring her away from it, not far. Don't add too much to this. Come down, unclip. Clip here. Now I got a hold of her. Come on, come on. Bella, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good. How much easier it is with that little puppy bumper. She comes in, she's hold. That's my fault. Good, hold. Good. Did. Get her around, give it back to her. Hold. Good. Good girl. Just encourage that. Good. Good. Did. Good. Good. And then back to calm. Here, 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 here. Good. Here, 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 here. Sit. That's a good girl. Again, that's a moment where she real easily could spin up and over with excitement. Good girl. But we bring her right back to this. The fix to the dog when she gets super excited, when she gets a little rambunctious, when she gets a little free-spirited, when she turns into that busybody, is put the lead on her. That's how we fix that. Just put a lead on her. Once we put the lead on her, we've got control. By simply putting that on, it becomes this extension of control. And you'll see there's not a lot of correction with it. Bella, heel. There's very little correction. I'm making a point of not correcting. Now, the reason is because we've made the corrections we needed to make in the past. This hasn't been no corrections all the time. If you look back, if you're just starting to watch these videos and you're going, he never ever corrects the dog must just know. No, she didn't. She'd get out of position and I'd pop her. And I'd give her a tap. And I did it enough early on, and I did it with enough pressure, enough force to change her behavior. And then it was consistent so that the behavior I wanted became the habit. So if you're starting in watching these videos midstream, go back to the beginning. If you have an older dog, with her it's nice because she was so little and it just didn't take much physically to correct. I mean, this was more than enough or too much at times when she was real little. And every dog's a little bit different with what they take and how they take the pressure. But if you got an older dog, you might have to put a solid, stern correction on. You may have to, instead of using this, I like this adjustable leader. It's more than enough pressure for these little dogs. It's more than enough, and it's the right amount when they get older and understand what they're doing. But this could be too soft for a year-and-a-half, 2-year-old dog that's full grown, 60, 70, 80 pounds. That might be not enough bite, not enough correction. So I'd use a slip. I'd use a slip chain. Slip chains aren't choke chains. People think they're bad tools. I think they're great tools because they can give you a really sharp correction, and then you can start getting softer. The idea is not to be strong and sharp all the time. It's get the change in behavior and then use less the next time, less the next time, less the next time, so you don't need to put hardly any on it. The other reason I really like a slip chain is because the chain I can correct with just audible. That chain makes noise. So before the dog ever feels it, they're gonna hear it because I can make the links touch. So sometimes the chain is the softest tool I use because all I gotta do is rattle it, make the links slide through the ring, and that sound alone corrects them, and that without any physical pressure. So, but I think I can make a very sharp bite to the neck with it. But it didn't start out with no pressure. But we're to the point right now that she's starting to understand habits well enough, heel, that she stays into position without the necessary, without correct. If you're correcting like 10, 15 times in a row, and you just have to continue to do it, now she's out of position too much forward, that's why I turned into her that time. But if you're correcting 10, 15 times in a row, it's because your correction number 1 wasn't strong enough. You need to correct strong enough to get a change, and then when you have a change, then you're consistent with it, and then your correction can be less and less and less, and likely get the same effect. Your level of correction changes based on your consistency and how the dog responds. A little out of position there, so I'll just go all the way around with her. Good. There's a little bit of correction right there. See that little feathering that I'm doing with my finger? She's feeling that on her neck. She's actually feeling this little tab taps her in the shoulder, kind of tap, 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 tap. As I feather that back, see that, Ben? As I feather that back, that little tab acts as a bumper. And when it bumps her, it gets her moving. Helps her remember, I gotta move, I gotta move, I gotta move. Good girl. Very nice. That's it for this morning. We got a little bit of heel work in, some sit to the whistle. Our first real, what I'm gonna call like a retrieving session. We're able to do it here in the driveway without any issues. If she were to run off, I wouldn't be doing it here. We'd go up on the porch where it's fenced off. We'd go somewhere in a hallway where she can't get away from me. But because we've got her the ability now, one thing that we didn't do this morning, we made 2 retrieves. Her habit is sit to that flush, and I'm gonna go pick it up myself. So something that's important too is for her to realize that not every retrieve is hers. We start building that in early too. Heel. This is a perfect time for her to realize I don't run wild after everything I see fly. Sit, sit. And so she goes, wow, exciting, sit down. I better sit down. Sit. She's excited, better sit down, then I might be able to go get it. So we made 2 retrieves, we threw 2 denials. Good. Sit. And now this time watch her, I'm gonna heel her. I'm gonna reset that up. I'm gonna let her pick this one. So I'm gonna end it on a real positive note, get a retrieve. But we went 2 retrieves, 2 denials, 1 retrieve, and then we'll be done. So this time, I'll do it as we heel. This is a nice little simulation of sit to this flush. Bird goes up, I want her to sit. Good. Good. Take 2 steps back away from it. Come on. Again, all control. We're building in a little bit of delay here. Get this out of the way so it's not gonna fly. Now I've got a hold of it. Watch, watch. Bella, Bella, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Encourage her in, not in a hurry to take it away. That's a good dog. That's a good dog. Good dog. About as long as I think she'll hold it without dropping it. Good. And then take it away. Dead. Good girl. Then give it back to her. Good girl. Dead. Good girl. Hold, hold, hold. Good girl. And then take it away. Dead. Sit. And we're back to control. That's just a really nice way to end this. Good dog. So that's a good session coming off the weekend. With not a lot of formal work with her, but a ton of practicing the stuff we've been working on. She went on a lead a couple times this weekend because she just got too wound up. She worked on a little bit of heel work occasionally throughout the weekend when I'd put her on that lead. But she had a lot of time to really explore. She had a lot of time to be a puppy. She had a lot of time to play with the other dogs, as long as it was controlled to the point that we didn't lose the control. It wasn't 100% under control, but we didn't lose it. In the cabin, she was in her kennel most of the time because the other dogs were out and she'd have just roughhoused and played. It would have been too tempting for her in a small cabin to ask her to be on place while the other dogs are free roaming. And there's not enough room in there for 5 places. That cabin's too small. So the other dogs are able to move around. They're old, they've earned it. She went in her kennel. That was good practice for her to be quiet in the kennel with distractions around her, but that was her spot and she did real well with it. So that's it for today, and we'll just keep moving forward with her this week. I think last week one of the things that I talked with Ben about after we stopped filming was, you know, a lot of this stuff is so repetitious, and it's probably some of the best stuff you can get out of this. Not all exciting. It's just so many days in a row of us doing very similar things. And that's just the way it is. I think that's the value of seeing the series is, boy, he does the same thing over and over and over again. We do a lot of it, and it will be like that for a long time. That's a real good session to build off of. Good girl.
Drive home, and I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned